Good morning and welcome to Moss Talks, where we have more culture and more conversations. I'm Joel, co-founder, creative director for Moss Magazine.
And I'm Sydney, co-founder and editorial director of Moss Magazine.
So recently we've been getting sick, Sydney. We've been feeling very bad.
Yes, very.
I feel like people that they get sick should just not go out into the world. Like even like unless you have something that you need to do, just send somebody else. Get somebody else to do it. They get somebody else to do it.
I see it as your body literally forcing you to stop and rest. So don't fight against it. Otherwise it will get worse. Um, so yes, being sick sucks, but I also think I also think it invites, the time to rest and refresh and reset and, kind of just stop
Yeah, I
instead
think
of
also
we're always on go, 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 go.
to add to that, we also I think it became less how to say less recognized, less important to like kind of stop when you get sick because like with the medications we have now with advances in medicine, advances in technology, now we have the ability to just like pop a pill, take a medicine, like it'll be gone in a couple of days. And like in whereas I'm gonna say I don't know what time it like I don't know the exact dates or years, but way back when medicine was coming out, like everything was like everyone was figuring out how to cure these things. Like you weren't going anywhere. Like people putting a hot rack on your head, you were sitting in bed. I'm pretty sure. You were not outside unless you had to be. Unless you were the provider, you were not outside.
Because I was sick this past week
Hmm.
and I literally had to just force myself to just not do anything at all, like literally just sleep. And it threw me off with like the magazine and stuff. Like I haven't the first time I opened our email was yesterday. Like it's been a full week. In current time, we feel like we can't afford to have that slow down or to just stop because everything is always just moving fast. But I feel like we should welcome that time and like realize like we can't just keep going and going and going because your body is going to burn out eventually and force you to stop like it did with mine.
Agree and disagree because I feel like we do have the idea, like the willingness to kind of like sit down and wait, like take time. Well, people that are socially conscious of themselves take the time to like sit down and wait. But the only reason it may not seem like that is because social media has made it to be go, go, go.
Or not even just
But,
social media, work, like
well,
work
no,
culture.
well,
You know what
yes,
I
but
mean?
I feel this is also my thoughts as well. But, social media, well, the internet, social media, everything that we do on our phones, computers, whatever you name it, even in the news, influences a lot of what we do in business and in life. And so, like businesses used to be where it's like with stock market, you had to wait till you got that newspaper. You had to wait till you got that call at this certain time of day. Like you weren't getting updates on your phone. You weren't getting updates on your email. You weren't getting all these alerts saying, hey, you need to do this now.
Oh
And so
yeah,
like
that's true.
that's that the sense of urgency is still the same, but it's changing. Or it changed. It's not changing. It's changed. Where it's no longer just like it's no longer that period of where everything has to build up to this culmination. It's like the culmination, the climax is happening now. Like this is like if it's not happening now, we're not doing it.
But
Like
all I
if
know is that if for some reason, you might pass away or something,
mhm.
your job is going to fill your position up the very next day. Like, they don't
that's
care.
that's true. That's true and false. With certain businesses, now speak with not saying their names, with certain businesses, they make it seem like they will easily fill your position, but they never have anyone to fill that position. But then
Well, yeah,
again,
because, the hiring process right now sucks, and
it's
that's a whole
terrible.
nother topic.
I feel like we, as a society, we need to do a deep dive on the hiring process. I don't think it's a problem with our hiring managers. It's just how we're getting through the portal or these loopholes to get to being seen. Because
What
I'm pretty sure, go ahead.
I was going to say, what aggravates me is
Hmm.
when I go on LinkedIn and I see a job that was posted 3 days ago. And I don't apply on LinkedIn. I always apply on the company website. I go on the company website and the job was posted 2 months ago, but the company on LinkedIn is reposting it as if it just came out. That
Yeah.
really, really irks me.
Mhm.
Why? Why do they do that? I don't understand.
I mean, it's just that like there's this thing. I'm not gonna go too deep into it because we're probably running out of time. But basically, there's this thing where you probably heard it this way. Businesses will put out job alerts just to kind of see who's applying and if, and to kind of see test their current brigade to kind of see if they're worthy of like or like see if they'll like step up to standard since they're threatening them with filling a position. Right.
I just think
So
it's stupid.
I agree. But I'm pretty sure there's a whole nother category of why things are being reposted on LinkedIn instead of just regular, like just post and wait. There's probably a whole nother thing on the business aspect we probably don't know about. But yeah, it's not the best. Like I'm not gonna go into the hiring process because then we'll cut into our time. But let's just say in terms of hiring, I don't think it's the hiring manager's fault. I don't think it's a fault of the systems that are being used. I think it's a matter of what happens in the background of said systems. That makes sense. Like I said earlier, the portals and the loopholes. What is being stopped and what is getting through. Nothing. When people be giving advice on how to on applying to jobs, they never tell you about the systems. They don't tell you anything about them. Like you really have to dig to find stuff out about them. But like they'll tell you how to set up your resume. They'll tell you who to apply to. They'll tell you where to apply to. But they'll never tell you what needs to get through, what needs to be said, what needs to be done. And that is the
Keyword.
issue with YouTube and social media in general, because they're like, that's the th that's it's clickbait. It's clickbait talking. That's all I'm gonna say. It's always clickbait. Just find out what's real and keep it on my feed, please. Thank you. But anyways, we have a great conversation today with Michaela. Um, we're gonna get right into it. She's an artist, so you're definitely gonna enjoy that. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning into Moss Talks. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Michaela Nichelle, an interdisciplinary artist. We're diving into their exploration of Black experience and her untraditional art. Thank you, Michaela, for being with us today.
Yeah, so excited to be here.
Yes, we're super excited to speak with you. I kind of just want to go ahead and dive in.
Yeah.
You work across, so many different types of mediums, painting, printmaking, photography. So, we want to know, how do you choose which medium best fits the story that you're telling?
Oh, I think that okay. So I do work across a lot of different mediums, mostly because I think like Black people are not monolithic, and that's something that we often talk about. I come from an African American and African studies background that was primarily taught by Black women. And so one of the phrases that always was told was like, Black people are not a monolith. We are not monolithic. And so we just kept talking about it, kept talking about it. And I thought that when I dove into my art practice a lot more, it was like, if Black people are a monolith, then why am I trying to force it into just printmaking as a way of doing things, or just graphic design as a way of doing things? And so I really wanted to expand. Um, what I heavily take into consideration is one, how I'm feeling at the time and what processes I want to like expand on. And then two, what like best works with the source material that I have. So recently I've been working on 2 projects. One is speaking on Black girlhood cartography, and then the other one is speaking on my first like Black queer experience, with dating a woman and then getting my heart broken. And for both of those, they look very different. And one was because I was working in this archive thinking of, for the cartography series, I was working on this archive thinking about like my mom and where she comes from and where I come from, and like traveling back to my hometown and like traveling back to this notion of home and what that means for me, and how it's like nostalgic, but then there's also like different, there's other feelings, right? It's nostalgic, but then I also hate my hometown, and I wanted to escape it for so long. And yeah, and so I couldn't use like these bright, fun colors that I used in Dreams of a Lover Deferred, which is talking about my ex-partner. And with that body of work, it was really important for me to think of like the bright colors and think of like the happy experiences that we had. And also really trying to tap in with my emotions when I was using spray paint and pastels to understand like the abstraction of this relationship and dealing with like those emotions. And even like parts of the pieces used text messages from our breakup. And that was like super hard to read through while I was at my studio and just being like, wow, maybe this wasn't a great idea today. But like keep going and keep pushing because like this story deserves justice. Yeah, I don't know, it was hard. And then I was thinking a lot about I'm really heavy into text. I started off as a graphic designer and working in like yearbook spaces and like print media. And I've always had this affinity for text, and so I was thinking more of how can I use text and objects to really push the narrative of the story. And so then that's where we have like one of my newest pieces, Tire Mirror, which is literally using a mirror and a reflective black surface to, well, a tire and a reflective black surface to create this mirror and questioning like, what did it mean to be loved? Like the story really pushes you to like know what it wants. Like the story knows, the archive knows, the experience knows. And I can't use the same browns that I use in like my family archives that I wanted to do in this relationship. And so the work knows, the body knows. I'm really trying to be more intuitive in my art practice on all of those things.
Yeah, no, and I love that you are like taking, that way with it of kind of just listening to your body, listening to yourself and knowing what to display in your art, and then also understanding that what you create, someone else is going to look at and connect to. So that kind of like forces you to push through, working through your art. And I just think that's all just like a really beautiful experience.
But going to our next question, your art celebrates the Black everyday. What does the term Black everyday mean to you, and how do you capture it in your work?
One of the really, really, really big things that I find in my art practice is I want Black pain is around us, and we are mostly suffocated by Black pain in the media. And I think that there's space for it, but there's also so much space for our joy and our happiness and these everyday mundane experiences that we go through. And those are like the experiences that we truly see every day in our lives. And so I came up with this concept of like really embracing the Black every day. And when I first like wrote it down, I was like, I really love that. Like thinking about just what are the everyday emotions that make me feel alive? Like texting my bestie every day is something that I truly cherish. And it's like we have our girl talks, we have our kikis, and it's like those are the things that should be celebrated, right? These moments where it's like these are the moments that give us life.
Yeah.
Um, so my practice is largely like familial archive based. Um, and I have like a bunch of like my family's photos from them just at family reunions, them just chilling. And I've always like gravitated towards those, and I'm like, "Ugh, I have to have the perfect project to use those photos." But it's just like that was when they were just chilling with their homies, with the family, like kicking back and laughing. And like that's an everyday experience, right? It just ha so happened that someone pulled out a camera that day, right? Or it was hot enough to grill and everyone came out. I think about even in Dreams of a Lover Deferred, like a a lot of that is just like dreaming of having a house, dreaming of having like these things that are very just standard in like everyday life, but it's like, no, this is what you want to build together and these or yeah, that's you want to build these things together and you want to like create this home, this life for each other, or even there are like, I was thinking a lot in that project about like the simple gestures, like hand holding, which there's an archived photo from the Black Lesbian Archives um, of this couple holding hands. And I'm just thinking of like, what is like the power of holding hands and what is the power of all of like these simple everyday gestures that we have that make you feel alive in more ways than like those big milestone moments, or even in more ways of like when we are out on the front lines and when we are marching, protesting, organizing. Like those are everyday realities as well. But there's also joy in those everyday realities. Like if you go through the Panthers Party's archives, like there are moments of joy that we get to see there too. There are moments of care and like community efforts. Like, and so my biggest thing was understanding that like joy is so central to healing. It's also so central to like survival and understanding that like that happens every day and really emphasizing those small moments that do happen every day.
I say it all comes back to in my mind, the way I think about it always comes back to representation. Because
Hmm.
like even in any field of any career field, anything you see out in the media or out in public, like if you don't see yourself there, it'll never become a reality to you. It'll never be your black every day. It'll just be something you see and it's like I want to be there, but I don't know how to get there because I've never seen myself there. I've never seen anyone like me there. And like
Yeah.
that comes like different forms because like in music, like you see Beyonce, and in sports, you see these black athletes, you see different people on TV, different people on your social media, different people on Instagram, TikTok, you name it. People having these big houses, and it's like now since it's become so seen, it's more of a matter of how do we get the representation to become more occurrent.
Another part to add to that is I think that sometimes we like my friends and I have been really talking about this, especially post undergrad, and we're all in different fields, and it feels so, so daunting, but it's like we really compare ourselves to these people we see on social media and like these very like large celebrities, and it's like that's not a reality and for a
Yeah,
lot of us, like, and even if we did want it to be, like, it's not everyone's reality. And so
yeah.
I even think about just like, Black excellence versus Black mediocrity. And it's like, it's okay to be mediocre. It's okay to be basic. Like, so I really love a basic life. I am a proud member of like Black Basic. And it's because like I do my dreams have never been to have that mega mansion. It's not a reality for me. And I mean,
Mhm.
maybe one day if I like really put the metal, but there's so many things that come with that
Yeah.
I'm not interested in. And so,
Hmm.
like, a part of that representation is just being like, in a part of my art practice, being like, but we have these good things. And like those are some things that like celebrities and those bigger names don't get to have because of how much people are in their business. But it's so I think about representation a lot in my work, but also just like in life, like it's okay to be like, no, I really like this two-bedroom apartment with a white refrigerator. Like it's nice. It's something that I didn't have. And like those are the things that I'm thinking of, right? My grandma, one of the series that I really want to work on soon is about my grandma, and she was like a hood candy lady in the South and like a cool cup lady. And I just think about like how interesting, and everyone has different names for cool cups, but we call them cool cups. Um, and how everyone has like different recipes for them in like different ways, but they all bring back this very nostalgic moment. And I'm like, I'm sure Beyonce wants a cool cup, but she can't get it because she's in Calabasas or wherever, and just like the joys of like simple things and how those bring us back to memories and like other joyous moments. But yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to add on to that. In media, when I was growing up, most of the time you would see, like you see rappers, you see like these music artists, you see all these gold chains, all this jewelry, these donks with huge rims coming down the road, and the thing that constantly became apparent through black media, black films, and especially with rappers and different artists, was corner stores and hot combs. That was like the biggest thing that I've noticed a lot being represented because like even though these were like pillars of black societies and like poor neighborhoods, it also was glorified in the areas that weren't necessary. And like like I say it's also just to say that representation was also very apparent for those things because like they're good but also bad, but like we wouldn't be here without it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think about I even think about how in fine art spaces specifically, like we're reclaiming those areas as spaces for fine art. A lot
Hmm.
of people are like really re-changing the narrative in fine art where it's like, no, we're actually going to be exhibiting at my grandma's house and you're going to come and you're going to kiki with us at Granny's house and you're going to
Yeah.
smell the scents that are imperative to this. There's a Detroit-based artist, her name's Taylor Childs, and she just did an exhibit at a liquor store. And I thought that that was like the dopest thing ever because just like how are we reclaiming these spaces that are important to the culture, right? That like were in Nelly's music videos, they were in, Flavor Flav's stuff. And it's like, no, like these are cornerstones. These are places where the work can be exhibited because these are places where we be.
Yeah. And to add my last point, I'm gonna add to that is
Yeah.
so I recently become obsessed with like DJ work and like how they operate. It's like, like again, myself growing up, I've seen like a lot of DJs like their main goal is just go to the club. Go to the club, you're gonna make money. Like that's where DJs make their money. It's like recently, like even though it's probably not their goal, I'm not sure their goals or missions, but like on YouTube, you can find a lot of accounts where they'll be bringing black people back to houses.
Yeah,
They'll be
Black House
entertaining like
Radio.
yeah, Black House Radio. They'll be entertaining like a small group in the house, and I'm like, I'm not sure if that's their goal or whatnot. I'm not sure all in all what they're trying to do, but like again, they're reimagining the space and bringing it back to where it like originally was, like where people were bringing out vinyl sets and being just performing for your mama and your friends. That's it.
Yeah, there's a Lansing DJ Renee Soul who I know
Hmm.
and she's super dope, but she also she's a part of this initiative called DJing at the polls. And
Hmm.
it was like during the election season, they were just DJing at the polls. And it was like this big thing, but it's like, yeah, like if I'm
Hmm.
waiting in line, I want to hear music. And like
Hmm.
she very much is vinyl based and loves like, traditional methods of DJing. And she's also working in like Afrofuturism too. But
Hmm.
just thinking about I do think that that's also an Afrofuturistic principle, right? I also think that returning back to rituals is Afrofuturist, um, because so many things, like, they always say like the past repeats itself, but it's like, yeah, and sometimes when it repeats itself, it's real good.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like going back into those histories, into those narratives is real good. But I'm also a huge like DJ fan. I just went and saw Zach Fox and I was like, yeah, Zach Fox and Sky Jetta were all in the city recently, and I was like, yeah, I couldn't hang
Josie,
out. I saw 30 minutes of his set and I was like, girl, we've been here for 2.5 hours. My feet
jo
hurt.
Josie ain't a big enough word.
Hmm. I love that. Well, just on the Zach Fox front, we went to go see him do stand up, and he's pretty good at it. Like
Yeah.
he's funny.
Yeah, that's my next goal. I got a few people on my list of like folks who I need to see soon, and I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But also just like you said, like just thinking about like Black trauma, Black joy. I did my undergrad in film and I went to PWI. So a lot of like when it came time to like focus on Black cinema, it was, the very like stereotypical types, the trauma types, and I like had to spend a big part of my time in that program being like, no, there's other movies out there. You might have that classic, but to me, this is a classic. What do you mean you haven't seen The Wiz? Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I feel like there are like people like us who are just kind of like in these spaces, also just trying to influence them and kind of just, fight back in the ways that people are used to viewing like Black art. And it's like, no, there's a lot of different hidden gems. I mean, they're not hidden gems to us because there
yeah,
are classics, but to other people, they're hidden gems. And it's like, no, like we have all different sides to us, all different types of stories out there. You just haven't digged deep enough to
yeah,
like find them. So I do like love your term of like Black every day and just, thinking about our normal, stories that like are just as profound as something that is crazy traumatic.
yeah. Yeah, I want to touch on like the PWI front real quick too, because
Hmm.
I also come from I'm currently in a PWI. Like I was honestly like one of my biggest things is mental health and wellness. So like talking about this is good too, but at the beginning of this, I'm in a Master's of Fine Arts program at a really big school, and which obviously, if my location makes sense, you'll find out. But I'm here, and I was like, I wasn't really understanding why I was so sad every day and why I couldn't create anything, and it like dawned on me, and I was talking to my therapist, and I'm like, I'm the only Black woman I see every day. And I went from this other PWI that was, yes, very white, but we had like this pocket of Blackness because I was in an African American and African Studies program that with like these dope women who like were only about Blackness, and like we would talk about every like modality of it. And even like we were talking about film, we had a Black film studies course, and it was only three of us in that classroom, but we were like watching like Cornbread Earl and Me and like what is it, Shaft? I don't, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, but I hear it in my head. And it's like all of those things that, because I also grew up in like, in like a tracking system of like, gifted and talented kids, it was like those were not realities for me. And then in college, I made the switch to like decide to like reclaim it. And I went to a school that's like not as popular. And they started the African American and African Studies program, and I was like, 17-year-old Michaela, like you did that. Like picking this school was important for you, and like choosing to join this like very me. And there's only actually three people with the degree currently that I have. And so it's like we made history because of that. But it's all of these things where it was like, no, you took a really big risk and it worked out. And so like choosing to celebrate like the Black everyday was because those women taught me how to, and they taught me how to love like every single minute of the day, even when we're like not doing well. And it's like, and they taught me how to like love kikiing, and like just like also to like understand that one of the reasons why I'm choosing the route of like staying in higher ed and like still pursuing like creative endeavors is because like there are more people like me who I want to see have those moments, like be in those Black studies courses that unapologetically center their love and their joy. One of the things from that program was like leaving the classroom every day with our hearts intact. And so, like, one of my practices in my studio is to leave every day with my heart intact. And so it's like when it's time to stop, I say goodbye. I don't care if that on that calendar it had a 2 hour hold. If I'm tired after 30 minutes, I'm tired after 30. I don't know. You'll have to see me tomorrow. Because my heart needs to be intact to do this work, and I won't kill myself doing it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna touch back on this again because you kind of already said something about it, but with being the only person in a certain space that's crowded by other people, um, it's very important. Just coming from my mind to myself, it is
Yeah.
very important to remember that you're the representative now. Whether we like it or not, we're that person that's being seen all the time, that's basically the visual representation for this large sum of people, whether we like
Yeah.
it or not. And like even like growing up and going to a predominantly white school and then going to a PWI as well, like it's not like it's like again takes a lot of time, takes a lot on your soul, and you're like you have very limited resources to people to relate to, like very few people to talk to. Like you can talk to people at campus, like obviously you can, but it's just a matter of them understanding the same experiences of who you are and where you come from.
Mhm.
I think it's very important to have those people around you, or like find someone, even if it's yourself talking to the mirror. Don't go crazy, but talk to
Yeah.
yourself in the mirror.
No, I found my people, and like I'm really grateful again for the African American African Studies department that I come from. Uh because it was like y'all got each other. Like these are the people you gon' whose back you gonna have. And like even my best friend and I, who is also from that department, like we're thinking of starting a collective. We have this like Black woman intimacy project that we're hoping is like a long-standing, lifelong project that we can keep expanding on, because we're like, no, it's so important to talk about intimacy like with Black women, and talking about like those joyous, soft moments that you get to have, and like the first time you realize like, wow, like this is it. This is where this is the softness. This is this is the honey, and yeah, and so I'm thinking about that, but I'm like, if it wasn't for her, like I wouldn't have gotten through all of the things I got through. And then even she helped me set up my exhibit, We're Losing the Recipes, and seeing the joy on her face uh was just it was so good. It was like, no, no, like this is important. Or even I'm starting to make like new connections and it's hard for me because sometimes I'm a bit socially awkward. And I like texted my homegirl who's in the city and I was like, hey, you want to come to an event with me? And she was like, yeah. And then there were people who like I had seen on Insta and I was like, oh, I don't know. I want to talk to them, but they're so cool. And then she was like, Mike, go talk to them right now. And so like, having those people who like genuinely helped me get through that program. And even now, like we're all again post undergrad and we're all doing different things. And I'm the only one at this institution, in this particular program. And I'm like, I'll text them before I do things. And I'm like, okay, I'm going. I'm going. I'm gonna do it today. Today I'm gonna do it. And they're like, all right. And they're like, your location ain't changed though. And so it's like they're still holding me accountable. And like that's why when we're talking about like being off the wall, it's like they're like, girl, get off.
Mhm.
You at home still. And so yeah, so I think about them and I think about the joy and I think about, yeah, representation and being the only person is hard. It genuinely is. And I'm grateful also at the program I am. There are two Black women professors who have been gracious, and there's even a professor who's emeritus, and she like was so willing to come back and talk to me. And it was just like listening to Black elders does something for my spirit where I'm like, oh, I love you. Like, thank you so much. And so I got to talk to her and for like an hour and we just talked and talked and talked and it was so beautiful. And so it's like, but those women are also fighting and that woman fought for so long in this program and then she got to retire from it. And now it's like I am continuing this legacy of like making sure that there is joy here and like questioning how other people show up in this program and how other people respect me in this program, because when you respect me you respect us. And so thinking of all of these different things, and it's like even when I do work and exhibit work, I'm like, you're going to also respect my family and you're going to respect these stories because I'm letting you into there. And in my book, We're Losing the Recipes, there's like a passage in it where I'm like, act accordingly. And I read that like out to the folks who came to the artist talk. And it's like, no, because I'm letting you in here, but this can also be taken away because it's not for y'all if you
Yeah.
can't act right. And so yeah, it's also advocating for yourself and advocating for those who came before you because it's important, and those who will come after you.
Yes, I specifically love that the fact that you are opening up this space, you are sharing your work, but also at the same time, like remember, I'm sharing this with you. I can take it
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
like I feel like that is something like especially we as like as
Mhm.
Black women, we need to practice that more,
And
because otherwise you get taken advantage of.
see, I think there needs to be a sport across even just like friendships. Because like with my friends, my few select friends I have, like that I grew up with, I tell them like, hey, I'm telling you about this traumatic experience that happened in my life, and if you take it and use it against me or use it in any other way, I will beat your tail. That's all that's gonna happen. I'm gonna
Yeah.
beat your tail. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm real picky with my friends. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yeah,
And because
Me
I think
too.
I have to be.
you need to
But
be.
But I don't, yeah, yeah, I left undergrad with a bunch of friends, but it was also because like senior year of high school, I was a pandemic baby. So it was like, not gonna lie, when they were like, all right, goodbye, y'all not coming back, I was like, oh, wait, I don't have to see these people again. I took myself out of group chats. I was like, all right, you ain't gonna see me. And thankfully, I haven't run into them when I am in my
hmm
hometown because they'll be
hmm
like, want
See,
to chat up. I unfollowed on Instagram. I was like, I don't know, we still on
oh,
Facebook, some people, but
hmm
it's not that like I became very intentional about who I was surrounding myself with because it was important for me to feel like my cup was being filled and like that no matter how I showed up, if I showed up like Oh my gosh, my best friend has combed my hair more times than I care to admit. And it was like, no, I hate my hair. Like me and my hair, we'd be tussling often. And she's like, no, but I think your hair's so pretty. Like, come on, like, just come over and like she'll comb it and like, and I'll bring food because she don't like to cook. And so it's like, I was only willing to engage in relationships where like the communal care was there. And
Mhm.
even like we talk about communal care and like Tony Cade, for the 5 years she wrote The Salt Eaters, was not taking care of herself and wasn't really taking care of her child. Like, and her daughters talked about this a lot. But the women who were there, like in her community, were filling those gaps. And so it's like, I needed friendships and I only need friendships that can fill those gaps because it's hard out here. We can center joy, but the pain comes in our everyday lives, right? And the joy is a reminder that when the pain is happening, the joy can still be there. And
Mhm.
so yeah, I hate when my hair gets a hot mess and when I refuse to comb it or wash it, but I'm like, hey Mo, you wanna come over? You wanna come over, Mo? I'll make us some dinner. Like, do something. But yeah, so I think I became real picky with my friends and understanding that like your friends are your first love. Like your friends are so like they are the people who love you. Like, I
Mhm.
don't know. I think my friends are the love of my life. And I'm like, no, of course I'm gonna treat you to dinner today. Like you've been so great. You woke up and you came. Like, yeah, I don't know.
But
I love my friends if you can't tell. I love my
no,
community.
I agree too, because like your friends are basically I consider my friends family, but
Yeah.
like it's really like they're the type where if let's say for instance if I ain't got nowhere to go, they're the ones I'm calling. They're the ones I'm always gonna go see, gonna go find out more about, and just they're always there for me. Like it doesn't always have to be like oh like buy me dinner or like do like there's like obviously you do those things, but there's not always that. It's more of like do you like at the end of the day, is my soul okay knowing that you are here with me and are we good? Like, are we cool? Like, are we still gonna be here tomorrow? Are you gonna be here 40 years? You'll be here
Yeah.
60 years. Like, if you're not gonna be here tomorrow or in 60 years, then we might as well just not even be friends because my friends are my family.
Yeah. 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 My best friend, yeah, her and I have been friends, we say since we were born because we
Mhm.
grew up two doors away from each other. And we just like the farthest we moved away from each other was when she was 18 and she went to college and I was still at our hometown. So it was 15 minutes away because she went to college in our hometown and then I
Oh,
moved. And I was like, but
I'm,
I miss you. Like, no, it's different when you grow up literally across like next door and then I moved across the street, but it was like no, your family. She's gone to every single one of my family dinners. Like, she'll be like, oh, yeah, how's Uncle so and so? And I'm like, he good. Um,
I'm over here thinking it's like she went hours away.
Yeah.
no, we have not left each other. Like, you guys, the furthest we've gone is 2 hours away from each other. And she's like, when you move, where are we moving to? Because we
Mhm.
gonna move together. Wherever you're teaching at next is where I'm going to college. And I'm like, real
Mhm.
neighbor.
I think also like when expanding a friend group, there's like a few benchmark tests we kind of have in our mind. Like one of my favorite tests is like if like if we're going out to eat, I'll like if I have something on my face and they don't tell me about it or like something's wrong with my hair, something like I buttoned my shirt wrong, like something's off or like my shoes untied. If they don't tell me, that's a clear sign they do not care about me.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, but you clearly are not paying enough attention to how I walked into this room to see that I'm not together. Like that's
Yeah.
that's 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 another thing. When you have friends, y'all are together. That's the key word, together. If I'm together, you're together, and we can go this way or that way together.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on this, but can you share what inspired your research on Black women in kitchen spaces?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna make this long story very short. But I am a talker. I I had this really good friend in high school and like through middle school, and she was so like real and like we were like attached at the hip. And then she ended up having this partner and he said something crazy, and then I was like arguing with her, and then after the call happened, I like flung my phone at a tree, and I like literally was like, what did you just do? Michaela, calm down. And that was the first time that I really experienced an anxiety attack. And I didn't have the words for it. I was just like, maybe everyone is saying that you are just a really angry Black girl, and maybe this is what's happening. Um, and that was not what was happening at all. I was just really anxious Black girl, and Black girls often get diagnosed with anger rather than anxiety. And I ended up seeing a therapist about it, who I still see to this day. Shout out to her. Um, and she was like, "No, you're just really anxious. Like these are like you just don't understand how to process and cope with these emotions." And obviously, as time has gone on, like I've learned different coping mechanisms, but one thing that has always stayed is me being in my kitchen and like cooking. Cooking is such a tangible thing for me that like the day can be really bad, but if I go into the kitchen, I have this task, I can make something. By the end of it, I have a tangible thing that was done today. You know, when you're like at the office and you're like sending in all these emails but nothing gets done, but you've been working for hours and you're like, wait, my to-do list is this long, but nothing got done. It's like when I come home, I'm like, okay, but I can make something and then it be done and it be good, right? And so we're losing the recipes started off really focusing on my anxiety and understanding that like through the kitchen I have learned to become less anxious, and I've learned that like when like the anxious moments are happening and when I feel it piling up, um like knowing, okay, let's go in the kitchen and see what we can make. I also come from an ingredients household, so like it was like it's just always kind of been the underlying thought there. But I started to think about that, and then I started to think like what else is happening in the kitchen that allows me to feel comfort in this area. And so I started to go through my family archives, and I was noticing that like my aunt and uncle got married in their kitchen in their living room, but then they like catered through their kitchen, and so did my grandma, and so did my great grandma. Um, or then even just like getting ready for places was happening at the dining room table, and or cooking lessons and thinking about like just like the narratives and the histories. My cousin and I, when we were younger, we always made this French silk chocolate pie for holidays. And so every holiday, it was guaranteed that we made it. First time we made it was trash, but we kept making it until we really got the recipe right. And so I was thinking of like moments like that, or I was thinking about this time where her and I were racing into the kitchen and then we like both plopped on the chair and then we broke the chair. And it was just like such a funny moment. What we have a picture that day right before the chair broke, and it was just like all of like these little moments that like were like again are parts of the Black everyday, where I'm like, no, like this was like our everyday life. Like we were just in my mom's cookbook, we found this recipe and we really wanted to do it. Or my mom, when I was like looking through her and my dad's like cookbook shelves, they had this binder, and I remember it being so important in our childhood where we have this binder and it has like those plastic sleeves in it. And every time we found a recipe that we really liked, we would print it off on our printer and then we would put it in the family cookbook. And so then it was like this modge podge of like cookbooks and everything else. And my mom had one from when she was like in her 20s. And like I went through it, and there was also pamphlets that she had from like different organizations that she just had like stuffed in the cookbook. And then as we grew up, there were like things from our pre-K um and like the programs we were in. And I started to think about these cookbooks as not only just like recipes, but also as like guides and aids. And it was just like looking at them and being like, no, but in this cookbook you can find um like you could find someone's business card and know where to get your card detailed, or at least like years ago. Or then you can look in and you're like, okay, how to stop a baby from choking. And it's like all of like these like little things that get really ignored. Like, and we're thinking about, oh, we're flipping just to get these recipes, but while you're in here in this recipe, in this archive, right, in this cookbook, um there are other things there that are helping. And so thinking about them like cookbooks and documents as like resources, and like That's always how I've envisioned my family's cookbook. And so We're Losing the Recipes was really just looking through all of those moments and trying to find the ones that I thought were really interesting and beautiful, and just like expanding them to fit my art style, but then also trying to like hear the narratives and the stories of my family. So I did some interviews with my family members for the booked portion of Her Losing the Recipes. And then I also just like got to really enjoy going through my family's physical archive and being like, no, like I loved this. I love that cookbooks held all of these little moments and memories. And so I scanned in a few of those and tried to really show those moments where it's like, no, everyone has their own little touch, like where we change the resources and where we give the material and like even I went and sourced my great grandma's, who I call Grand Grand. I went and searched Grand Grand's wedding document, and it caused a fuss in my family. And I was like, everyone is telling me where they got married, but here is the document. And I'm like, you guys don't know. And I was like, it's also interesting too, because it was a testament of like really trying to find and like outsource and get all this information. But it was like, I was genuinely on the records, like the deed person in the county that like I assumed the wedding certificate was in, and like we were going back and forth. Like we were playing phone tag for a few days, where I was like, okay, I'm trying to piece together this information, and if they said she might be this old, and I was matching up her obituary and like trying to find all these pieces of information out. But it was also beautiful because like I'm getting these stories that are lost, and then I'm also getting these documents. And so yeah, We're Losing the Recipes really just started off as me having anxiety, and like the I tell the tree story a lot because it was like the first time where I was like, oh girl, this needs help. Like it's not you're not like I was genuinely angry about the friendship, and like that was the marker of like the last time we were friends. And I was like really angry about it, and but what I was most angry about was just like I knew that that friendship was coming to a close, like at that point, because I was like, oh, we don't trust each other anymore, like. And then I was like, but it's more than just anger. It's like this loss. It's all of these things, and like I yeah. And so cooking ended up helping with the anxiety. And I don't cook as much. I won't say cooking as much as baking. I'm a baker more than I don't know. I don't really be eating for the oxymoron of We're Losing the Recipes and being so fascinated with recipes is that I don't cook that often. I'm a real heat up and go girl, except when it comes to baking. But yeah, that's where it started. And then just like also thinking about my mom and thinking about how family gatherings and like Christmas and Thanksgiving was so big in our house, but she was like, no, I'm doing this when you guys go to bed. Like, I
Mm,
can't do it with all y'all around. Like, so she would start at 8 and then she would be done at like 8 a.m. And it was just like, yeah, no, that was her time to herself. Like she could listen to her music. She could do these things that reminded of her of growing up and like her grandparents. Yeah. And recipes are just so interesting to me. I can talk about them forever, but like they are their own archive and they are their own like memory keeping things. Like so many recipes in my family are tied to multiple different stories. Like pecan tarts are my grandma's recipe, but they're the one thing my brother can make. Like, and he can cook and he can grill real good, but like baking pecan tarts, like if you ever see a pecan tart at our family reunion and my family's there, Mikey made them. It's like that's his thing, right? And so like there's so many different stories, like because grandma has this backstory to it, but like my brother has now had his own story to it.
yeah. No, yeah, I love that. Because I'm like, okay, like one, I'm a baker as well. I love to bake.
Yeah.
But also I am like an archive girly 100%. Because like my grandfather, he's kind of like the patriarch of the whole family. He's the youngest of 12. So like he has all this rich history. He's like the last living brother. So like everyone like kind of goes to him, but he also just has like all this wisdom, all this knowledge, and then he's also the cook. And
Yeah.
so like just like growing up around him because like it's just me and my sister, like it's just the two of us, like grandchildren wise. Um, we're like super close to him, so like he's always just been a family person. So like that's definitely rubbed off on me. And so like I do really value like the archiving of like knowing your like the family history, like knowing your history and just like items and pictures and photos and stories, like that to me has just always been super, super important because like I feel like I can't like go and live life unless I know, who my ancestors are, where I
Yeah.
come from, and the stories that happened to get me here. Um, and so, the saying is always like the kitchen is like the heart of the home. And so like just the fact that like you see your family cookbooks as like that archival, treasure, I think is super, 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 super special. And then like it lives within the kitchen itself. Like that is like an added touch. So
The
yeah.
one thing I did enjoy about my family cookbooks in particular were they were living documents.
Hmm.
There's still pages in them and I could go put in a page tomorrow if I wanted to, right? And I think like that has a beauty. Like sometimes when we have like these like huge physical cookbooks that like come from everyone's everything, you don't feel like you can write in them, you don't feel like you can change them. And so like just like those simple moments of pencil and paper where they were written down and like crossed out and all of those other things, like that felt good to know, like because we change and we adapt. And I again, recipes themselves are like their own archives, but it's also a testament to like Black people, and like we change, we adapt, we we make all these changes to become better, right? Like my aunt Tanya, and we're losing the recipes, has a gumbo recipe and it's crossed out, it's sketched, and she's like, when she was giving it to me, she was like, do you want me to rewrite it? And I was like, no, don't touch it. Actually, I'm just gonna keep this one. And but it was seeing her over the years change how she like got her roux and like what was the length, and even thinking about what sausages she used, right? Like she found something better, so she did then like changed it so that her family can have the best.
Hmm.
And like that's something that I think is beautiful and like truly is testament to Black folks and like how we have adapt to become better, be so
Yeah.
that our family can have the best.
Mhm. No,
Yeah,
absolutely. Go ahead.
I think recipes overlap a bunch of areas in Black society or culture
Mm,
because like when obviously when cooking a dish, just like it will never be the same if you don't include a specific ingredient or a specific thing. And then like from a child's viewpoint, they get the food and it's like, oh, it's great, like they love it. But it's also about the experience itself because with children are so direct but very like easy to be influenced because
yeah.
when like for instance you like gumbo, let's say your mom makes a gumbo or Tanya makes a gumbo and she makes it and she puts it in a specific bowl. To that child, they love the gumbo. But every time you give them the gumbo now, it better be in
And
this
that bowl.
bowl. The recipe will never be the same if it's not in this bowl. Because like especially like me growing up, like I remember I went back to my parents' house a little while ago. And so like my mom still had sippy cups from when I was a kid. And so I was like, I didn't drink from it. But I was looking at it, I was like, I remember how good the juice tasted when I drank from the sippy cup. Like I was like, what juice was it? And I'm like, I don't know what juice it was, but when I drank from it, it don't matter. It don't matter if you put it in a plastic cup, a paper cup, it ain't gonna be the same. I don't want it from nowhere else.
No, I think about that and how excited I was when I got my first cast iron.
Hmm.
And just like everything tastes better in a cast iron, but also like just like when I got my first cast iron, I made cornbread in it because it's a family tradition. Like you make cornbread in your first cast iron, it doesn't matter. And so like I have two cast irons now, and so the small one made cornbread in, and then the second one I made cornbread in, the bigger one. Um, but I'm like, yeah, I think about all of those things and like the vessels that we use. And there's so many things in my parents' house that I can like look at and be like, oh, I remember when we first got you. Yeah. Or even like my mom's a ninja girl. Like she loves a ninja appliance. She's an appliance girl. And she got one like a few years ago for her air fryer. And so we like got rid of it, and the old air fryer went to my best friend. And I was at her house the other day and I was like, you still got this janky air fryer? And she's like, girl, don't talk about my air fryer. She is getting through. And like I say janky because at some point I dropped the basket and the plastic like broke off at a section. And so I was like, you you ain't got a new one yet? And she's like, no, because I love this one. And so thinking about just like how that has a story itself and how it's also like, again, to touch on like the friends being family, it's like, no, it literally, I was like, oh girl, you need a new air fryer. We're getting rid of one. Here you go. Merry Christmas.
Mhm.
And and now she has it and she's like moved 3 times and it's like, this is still the air fryer you have.
I want to touch on one small thing before we continue. When you talked about anxiety, I realized that anxiety only becomes anger to someone when it doesn't matter to them. Because like when someone's experiencing someone else having an anxiety attack or acting out on their anxiety, it becomes anger, it becomes rage, it becomes all this fueled ferocity. And like
Yeah.
in reality, since thankfully we've had a lot of improvements and explanations of what anxiety is through the years. But like when it happens, it's never like with children, it's never a matter of in the past it was never a matter of figuring out what may actually be going on with them. It's like, oh, Billy didn't like that we left them in the class, so he decided to trash the whole place. So it's
Yeah.
like yeah, I think in certain situations we have to change their perspective just a little bit because even though the child's learning, even though they're understanding and growing, it's just a matter of even with adults, a matter of figuring out where this the cause of it may be coming from.
Yeah, I believe in Black people getting mental health resources, but specifically when we talk about Black women and getting mental health resources, we're always like strong Black women, strong Black women, strong Black women. Black women are the backbones, right? And so oftentimes we don't allow like if the backbone snaps, like we're like, oh wait, that wasn't supposed to happen, but it's like no, when there's pressure on it, it hurts. And so one of the things for me was like I felt like I was in like the head of like 6 different clubs. I was the head of my yearbook, the head of my competitive acting team, like all of these things. And it was just a lot for like a 16-year-old. I was like helping out with political campaigns. Like it was a lot. Um, and then it was like, no, I snapped because I didn't understand like what was that every time that like my chest got tight, that wasn't normal and like you just can't push on through it. And so one of the biggest things is like understanding like it's okay to take time for yourself. Like Black women rest. I'm a big follower of Trisha Hersey's nap ministry and along with Octavia Rahim's practices on Black women resting, pause, rest, be, and taking time for our mental health and understanding like it's okay to not be okay, but it's even better to like understand that you're not okay and then utilize resources and advocate for yourself and even advocating for those who are next to you. Like I advocate for my homies all the time. I'm like, "Oh, you don't have the capacity to send that email, but I got the capacity. What we saying? Oh, okay, cool." And I'm like, "Copy, paste this and send it, girl, cuz you need a break and like the work can get done a different day. It doesn't have to be today." Yeah.
We're going to jump right into our next section. We have
Yeah.
a quick fire session where basically I'll ask you 5 questions. You say the first thing that pops into your head, okay?
Okay, cool.
So first question, one artist you'd love to have dinner with.
Right now it's Titus Kapar.
Okay.
He's from
Um,
Kalamazoo.
First thing you do after finishing a project.
Oh, go home.
Favorite kitchen tool,
Oh, I love my KitchenAid.
KitchenAid. What we'll come back to that. But your Black cultural icon.
Black cultural icon. Nikki Giovanni.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Favorite song on your playlist.
Hit him up.
By Tupac?
Yes.
Okay, we will go back through some of these. So, all right. So, first of all, I can agree strongly with the first thing after finishing the project, go home. Because, like,
You
really,
don't need me there.
like, we tired. Like, especially like when I used to paint, I didn't do it in the capacity. other painters do. I did it
Yeah.
for fun. It's like
Yeah.
even like doing like a 30-minute project. My back was hurting. Like I thought my grandma was looking down on me like I ain't worked hard for this. Uh,
Oh,
so, yeah.
well, the first thing I'm doing is going home. I like after We're Losing the Recipes was exhibited, we did like the whole exhibition day, and then everyone was like, we should go out, get drinks, you know. I looked at my bestie, I said, take me home. Stop at Cane's, get me some chicken and take me home. I'm
Mhm.
I'm quick to be in my bedroom with the lemonade and chicken fingers. Like, and that's my self-care. Uh, and yeah, it's probably a stop at Wendy's on the way to get home to get a pineapple mango lemonade and then be in my bed, but I'm quick to go to bed. Like, I'm tired. Sorry. Everything can happen tomorrow morning. Yeah.
But in your third question, you said KitchenAid. I'm assuming you mean the blender.
The KitchenAid stand mixer.
Yeah, yeah, it's stand
Yeah.
mixer. Yeah, those were the backbone before Ninja showed up. Before
Yeah.
Ninja started getting heavy in the game, that thing right there.
But see, KitchenAid is still she's
I
one of her
still use
own.
mine.
No,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She they
Mm-hmm.
never fell off. Don't get me wrong, they never fell off. But they
I
were
just found out
it.
that they have two different types of juicers.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, I can get rid of that juicer that I have, give it to my homegirl, and then get like the KitchenAid version so that I condense my appliances. Yeah, I just made butter for the first time with the KitchenAid because I was just bored and I was like, "Ugh, I want to do something." So I made butter. And it's just like all it's also I love experimenting in the kitchen. And the KitchenAid allows for that. Yeah. My parents got me the veggie shredder for Christmas and I was like, "Thank you." I was like, "Yep, that can go right with my other tools." Yeah, the KitchenAid.
But R.I.P. to Nikki Giovanni. Yeah,
Yes.
great cultural icon.
Love Nikki Giovanni. There's nothing better than a Nikki Giovanni read. Like, and my real reasons for loving Nikki Giovanni is because she will read someone to filth. I don't know who if y'all have seen her read Bill Cosby down. It was like he talking about single mothers, and I don't know. I know a lot of them who are working, and like she read him for filth, but she also, while she has the capacity to read people for filth, she also loves like no other. Like, if you've never read Resignation, it is one of the most beautiful poems I've ever read. And yeah, I love Resignation, but it's like one of the things that she says, like, I love you because that is the natural order of things. And I'm like, yeah, like and then I love you and I'm like so in love with you that I don't understand how you resist locking me in an echo chamber of your love. And it's like, how do you resist that? Right. And so the ability, because I think that people need to be read sometimes and be told, like, I think sometimes my mom always used to say, people who love you correct you. And I think people stop correcting people. And now you have to like advocate so much for yourself in order to correct others. But it's like, no, like it's okay to read someone and be like, no, you really hurt my feelings, or no, you need to be told about yourself because that's
Mm-hmm.
terrible. But then to love just as hard as you do that is like, and to do it so graciously, that's my Nikki Giovanni is my spirit animal. Like she is my spirit person. I'm like, I see you in a way other people don't see you. Yeah.
But to add on to that, "Hit 'Em Up" by Tupac.
Yeah.
Um, like first off, and then it just goes from there. First off, like I think that really that's one of the songs where like I say one of the songs where it's really like if you play it like you're like they're like everybody all y'all need to get out all of y'all like you're definitely driving in the car like you know what they tried me today I'm gonna let them live but this song this song ain't saying what I'm thinking but I'm gonna let it speak for me right now.
Yes. Um, Yeah, I think that sometimes I'll like be talking about like wellness and mental health and like all these good things, and then like I pull out like, oh yeah, actually I'm a really big Tupac stan. My shirt's actually a Lil Wayne shirt because I love Weezy F Baby. And you know, everyone's coming for him right now, but it's okay, y'all. But even with my ex-partner, she put on Hit 'em Up and I was like rapping it word for word, and she was like, what's happening over here? And I was like, y'all don't understand. Like the anger's still there and I just like let it go through Tupac. But also I remember the day of the like November 6th. I walked into class and I was like, if y'all have ever heard the end of Hit 'em Up by Tupac, that's how I'm feeling.
Mhm.
Like, don't talk to me unless you're a black woman, please. Thank you. And I was just like, I'm not answering questions today about how I'm feeling. I don't even have the capacity to care how other non-black women are feeling. You know, I was like, after class, I'm going home, I'm taking a nap. Don't expect anything else from me today. Uh,
See, that's a real thing. Like in any space, like tell someone no questions, please. Like for real. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. Like um, in certain spaces where I am, I have to answer a lot of questions. And I'm like, there are times where I'm asked questions that are not for work. I'm like, if it ain't about what I have to do right now, don't bother me.
yeah,
Do not upset the Tupac within us, please.
yeah, he's always ready to be stirred.
Hmm.
And then I have to read you like Nikki Giovanni, and then it's like, okay. Um, so also why she probably loved him so much, but
For everyone watching, please, please, please go follow Michaela and just look at all of the amazing work that she's doing. Um, Truly just the creativity is there, the research is there, like the intention is there. So please like go and
Yes,
support. And we hope you enjoyed listening in on our conversation today.
that's my song right now.
Awesome.
Besides hitting them up, study outside of the club, and they think I'm a bum. So I go, kid man, just open the trunk. I ain't never scared. That song.
Wait,
Hmm.
okay, so in lieu of like hit 'em up, what is your rage song?
Never scared. I have a bunch of songs. Never scared. Um, there's a Doji song I love.
Was she
Nissan Altima, and the other one, I think you know what I'm talking about. I forgot the name of it.
Dochi?
Yeah,
Was she screaming?
I think
I know what you're talking about. I just don't know the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. I like that one as well.
I have a plethora of songs. I need to go through and check. But yeah, what about? Oh wait, the another song is "So What" by Vince Staples. It's my favorite one song. "So What" by Vince Staples, episode one. Because in the song he's like, "Why they hate on me?" And he's like, "So what? Why they hate on me? So what?" And it's like it's the whole plethora. He's like, "It." The lyrics you need to read them to understand why I can't say what I'm about to say. But yeah, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
But what are
Yeah.
your songs?
Well, I definitely like Heard It All Before.
Oh yeah,
That healed me. I love that song.
yeah. Hmm.
But I'm trying to think. The Beyonce one. Um,
Sorry, my house. Um,
I like Sorry. Trying to think. Look, why can't I think of the name of it? What?
irreplaceable.
No,
Um,
no, that don't get me
um,
up and going. I think it's Sorry. But I like My House, but I don't. I mean, My House is kind of like a diss track in a way, but it just gets me pumped up. I'm trying to think like, what do
yeah.
I like when I'm like mad and I need to like. It's definitely Heard It All Before when I need
See,
to like.
I'm about to pull up my run playlist right now and figure it out. What's that song? Backseat Freestyle by Kendrick. Oh my God. That's a good song. That's a good song right there.
It was the oh my gosh.
On the flip side, like a feel good song for me, like a song that I play where I always feel confident, I always feel great, like as a person,
Mhm.
is "I" by Kendrick. That song I need to talk about more because it said because in the song he said I've been through a whole lot, trials, tribulation, but I know God. The devil want to put me in a bow tie, praying that the holy water don't go dry. Yay, yay. And then the chorus is like, I love myself. And then it just goes on like that.
I'm trying to think. My uplift song. I would say lately I've been listening to a lot more Stevie Wonder than normal. So like he makes just good, beautiful, uplifting music. But of course it's always Beyonce. Like I remember one year for tryouts for dance team. Well, 2 years in a row. My senior year we danced Beyonce, but my junior year, when I really had to fight for my spot, we danced to Beyonce. And like, had we not danced to that song, no, I think it was senior, because senior year you come out and you old, and then you gotta try to get your spot from these incoming freshmen who just came off the dance floor. So we were all really fighting for our spots, and we danced to Beyonce. And had we not danced to Beyonce, I wouldn't have gotten through. It was heated. So I would say anything really by her that isn't like where she's like angry. I love Beyonce to like pick me up, and Ariana Grande. She'll always pick me up too.
I agree with Stevie Wonder because that song, everybody that be living it up, do I do?
do?
Yeah.
That one, and as is just so beautiful.
Yeah. Or my favorite Stevie song is Ribbon in the Sky.
Oh
That
yeah.
song. Because it's so good. And like the piano melody that's just playing in between the song. It's like you can literally sit back and be like,
You're floating.
yeah, literally floating, and like it's just so good. Or yeah, there's a Fantasia song, "Summertime" by Fantasia. I could sing that song. Mm. Cause she goes on a big run at the beginning. Well, not even a run. It's just like she takes the word "summertime" and she goes so high, and it's so good. Or like what's that song by Drake?
Wow,
Passion from
Drake.
miles away.
That's
Dun, dun,
surprising.
dun, dun, dun.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't
passion
listen.
fruit.
Yeah, I used to listen to that before Drake got acquitted.
I like older Drake for sure. Like I definitely like his older stuff, but his newer stuff is gonna take me a minute to happen. The only reason I know his newer stuff is because of my sister. She's
Yeah.
like Drake is her Beyonce.
Are you a Drake fan? But also Finesse by Drake because like a big like in the past years, my big word has been finesse, and I love like the idea of finesse. Like it wasn't based on Drake, but finesse is also taken like out of account like a bunch of times because people think it's like, oh, you're swindling or you're trying to split through all these gaps. And I'm like, no, that's not what finesse means to me. Finesse means like I'm good at something, but I'm gonna show you how I can level up on it. I'm gonna show you like for example, like for I can do a dance move, but I'm gonna show you how I can make this dance move look 10 times better than the original move. Like I'm gonna finesse it to make it look like something that nobody else has ever done.
Yeah.
Like, that's my whole thing. Like that was my word for 2024. My word for 2025 is solid. Some finesse and solid.
I need to find my word for 2025. I was also thinking about that. I was like, I need to set my intentions and stuff and my goals.
But see, the words just be coming to me. It's not really like it's not really like I go out and like, oh, what's my word? But it's just like it's something that continues to be
finds
told
you.
to me. Yeah, it could be continues to be told to me constantly and constantly, constantly. And it's like, how do I become this thing? And like really like it's not even how I become it. It may already be in me. It's just like how do I hone it to be more evident and more prominent? Ooh, also another good song, another good artist to listen to when I need like when I just chill or like I feel like I'm floating. Mac Aries.
For me, I think it's Cleo Soul.
That too. Oh, Cleo Soul came out with an album too. Yes, with
And
Salt SAULT. If you ain't heard it, ooh, I love Cleo Soul.
and Adele. I
Oh
love
yeah,
her. Oh
love
my God,
Adele.
I love Adele. Wow. I wish I could see her perform. I hope she comes back and does another tour or something in a few years.
See, I've already got my bucket list done. I've seen. I'm gonna be seeing all I need to see. If don't nobody else excite me, unless Tupac come back, I'm good.
I don't know. I think I really want to see Ariana and Adele in concert. I've already seen Beyonce, so I want to see her again, obviously. But anyone else is kind of just like, oh, okay, I'll go. Or maybe Victoria. If she does a stadium tour, I would like to also see Victoria.
Oh
Monet.
yeah.
But other than that, I'm
Ooh.
pretty good. Like, honestly, I'm still a little scarred from that Lucky concert. Not Lucky Day, but the Lucky concert. Because my sister played his song the other day, and I got flashbacks. And I was like, oh no. Oh no.
See, because like concerts are this type of thing where they're a good experience, but they're
Depends on
letting
the audience.
they're letting too many people in. That's the thing.
Mhm.
They're letting too many people in.
It depends. Like, you really have to recognize and realize who the demographic is. I don't think I realized who the demographic was for Lucky, and I found myself in the middle of a mosh pit.
Also, I lied. I did not see everybody I want to see. I want to see Doechii. I want to see Summer
Oh
Walker.
yeah.
Like
Mm.
also, we talked about this
I love
before.
Summer Walker, but I don't know if she's a performer for real. Like,
Yeah, that too.
is she gonna dance?
Yeah, she gonna leave the mic on. That's my thing. But yeah, I love Doechii. Like, not even like I love her more now, but I loved her a lot more before, like her recent album, before her recent
When she was a
fandom and fame.
feature on Isaiah's song.
Yes.
And no one
Also,
knew who she was when she came out. It was at the BET performance show. No one knew who it was. I was rewatching that performance like, girl.
like Doechie's so good. Like, and also, to add another song that gets me up and rowdy, "Park" by Isaiah Rashad.
Been rowdy.
Yeah, up and rowdy. Because in the song he's like, "Mama knew I was about it way before I was a child." Like, like, yeah, that's right, that's right. Mama knew I was about it. Mama knew.
Oh, your
Mama
mama
raised
knew.
this.
Your
Mama
mama
raised
knew.
this. Mama,
Mhm.
Mama raised this. Big dog. Mama raised this. And that's also another thing that I probably need to get rid of too. Changing the not really changing, but like realizing when I need to be dog mentality and puppy mentality.
Oh.
Because when I like I said, like when we talked with Michaela about with Hit 'Em Up by Tupac. And like, even though hit 'em up is very important, like you gotta have moments where you stand on business and like let people know like, hey, I'm doing this right now. Like, I need you to step off or something's gonna happen. Like, I need you to chill out. Like, that's very important, but at the same time, it's like I be big dog too much. So I be ready to hit him up too often. So I'm like, I need to chill sometimes because my passion comes out.
I think I need to be the opposite. I need to bring out my big dog a little bit more. Because
Yeah.
the puppy be getting knocked down and picked up and walked over, and I can't have that no more. I gotta be a big dog.
hmm I agree.
And I'm
I
going
agree.
into my golden year. I gotta be a big dog.
It's golden year. Every year is a golden year.
No, the golden year is like when the birth date matches your age.
So I was a golden year in my teen years.
Yeah.
What you saying? That's
Yeah. And
that's terrible. That's terrible advice. Don't listen to that.
I'm about to have my golden year, and guess what it's gonna be about? Me, myself, and I taking care of myself. I really want to go to a spa and just have that energy for the remainder of my year, like taking care of myself.
So let's say this: it's your golden year, like because those people that's born on the
Yeah, it's
first of
my
the month.
golden year.
Yeah, but I'm saying you saying it's the date matches your birthday. That's
Yeah.
terrible advice. That's terrible advice.
Well, hey, I can't help it. If you were born on the first, I hope you had a wonderful, beautiful, lovely first, surrounded by
No,
your
no, 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 no,
awesome,
no,
amazing
no, no,
family and
no,
friends. I
not
can't help that.
not no. You can't help it because they didn't even form any habits yet. The only habit they form is where they get their milk from. That's it.
Their personalities were there a little bit, the very
Yeah.
start of your
Well, yeah,
personalities
they,
were
they
there.
had personality. They were like, the milk ain't here. What I'm supposed to do now? That's what their personality was. But again, thank you so much for tuning in to Mox Magazine. We had a very fun yap session with Michaela. Go check her out. Go check out all that she's doing. Again, as you saw, very educated, very mindful about the culture that we live in. So please check her out. Be in tune with her. Look at her socials, share, comment, and like. Please do. And if you like this episode, please tune in for more coming around next week and share our content. And we appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for listening to Moss Talks.